heart of entrepreneurship is, at the end of the day, a deep commitment to bring something that doesn't exist yet, for which there is no proof. It's a commitment. The entrepreneur is someone who is so committed to a particular vision that they are willing to spend their time and effort to bring others together and see it to its fruition. It's a unique commitment and ownership to a particular vision. TiECON 2025 is an absolutely new, bold, fresh look at what it means to be an entrepreneur.
Welcome to Indian Union News. Our guest today is Atul Dhir. He is a co-chair of TiECON East 2025. Today, we are going to learn about him, the TiECON East 2025, and a very unique theme of this year's conference, and how the conference is going to unfold on September 26th at Sheraton Boston in Boston. Atul, welcome to our studio.
Thank you, Pendra.
Finally, we meet here in front of camera.
Finally, yes.
Excellent.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. So before we get into the theme of the conference and the sessions, etc., first let's talk about you. Tell us about yourself. By training, you are a physician, but you never practiced medicine.
Yeah, I grew up in India, in New Delhi, and I went to medical school at AIIMS at a very young age, as many of Indians do. After finishing at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, I spent a few years in England at Oxford and did my PhD in molecular biology. And then it was a dramatic shift. And I worked with McKinsey. They hired me out of England and worked in the New York office. And once I got the taste of what it is to not only work within the healthcare system, but to actually shape and be part of leading a healthcare system, that led to a journey of over 3 decades of not only leading companies, but over time, just smaller and smaller, more entrepreneurial companies. I've now had the privilege of either leading or being in the senior leadership of about 4 or 5 healthcare companies across all sectors of healthcare, providers, biotech, peers, tech, etc. So it's been quite a non-linear journey, but an exciting one, and I'm very grateful for that.
So now, since you mentioned healthcare and the McKinsey, and what is happening today with the healthcare industry in the US, I have to ask you that question, both for the entrepreneurs as well as some obstacles and opportunities. So what is your take in today's healthcare industry in the US?
I happen to be an optimist.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are such fundamental trends going on in healthcare that it is going to require the deep entrepreneurial and leadership capability more than we've had or needed before. There are many different forces at play here. The level of innovation and our understanding of healthcare at the level of, not only at the molecular level or the DNA level, we are in fact in the conference going to be talking about mRNA technologies. That level of understanding of human biology, disease, combined with the therapeutic and diagnostic technologies, and now obviously the capabilities of AI, we're going to see dramatic changes and enhancements in our ability, including biosensors, to provide a level of care that has not been possible.
Let's go back to the basic. We'll come back to the healthcare a little bit later. So the basics is the very theme of this year's conference, which is I really find absolutely fascinating.
I'm glad.
The heart of entrepreneurship. So how did you guys come up with this idea? And what is the heart of entrepreneurship?
So when early this year, Purna and the board, the TiE Boston board, asked me to consider leading this year's conference, for me it was very clear. Just from my own lived experience, and having had what I call unplanned, accidental entrepreneurial journey, I thought there was a lot of information and emphasis available, and rightly, on what it takes to build a great startup business or a entrepreneurial business. But what no one was talking about was, what is the journey of an entrepreneur? What does it take? The mindset, the resilience, sometimes the lonely journey. And I feel there is as much need and tools available that today's entrepreneurs would benefit from a conversation that's primarily focused.
So what are the, if I ask you to just random pick three numbers. So what are the three features of heart of entrepreneurship, or three elements?
Yeah, I would say the three core aspects of being an entrepreneur. At the beginning is the entrepreneur is committed to seeing a possibility or a vision that no one sees yet, and for which there is no proof. That's the beginning of the entrepreneurial journey. The second is entrepreneurship requires engaging others. It's not something you can do on your own. So how do you meet that vision through others, with others? And at the third,
you mean in the context of scaling up?
In scaling, or even you need capital.
Sure.
You need other talents and skills to bring that vision to fruition, to build the product, to reach the customer. And so you need other minds, other talents. But the third, which I think is unique to the entrepreneurial journey, because you're trying to create something that others cannot even see, for which proof doesn't exist, is a very unique relationship you have to uncertainty and to risk. And how do we as human beings manage that over a period of time?
So now in this context, if you can talk about how the TiECON East 2025 on September 26 is going to unfold from the beginning to
that. I love the word unfold.
Okay.
We have tried to curate based on our experiences from last year. It's one main room, main stage. They are not separate stages. And we've curated it into multiple acts of a play. It will be, in addition to the opening and closing sessions, there are 4 key elements to this unfolding arc of the day. We'll start with what we call the journey of an entrepreneur, where we will talk about having a different kind of entrepreneurs from different industries and different stages of the business, talking about what their journey has been. The second session, which, as you know, was last year a huge success, we are just amping it to the next level, is the emerging company showcase. And then in the afternoon, we will be focusing on, given we are sitting in Boston, we are sitting at a historic time, of talking to people who bring us a perspective on what lies ahead, the shapers of what's next. These are leaders in their field, but put an entrepreneurial lens on how these disruptive forces are going to affect the entrepreneurs. And then finally, which I'm most excited, and it's a new experiment for us, is we believe entrepreneurship is more than just a business or a tech business or a life sciences business. Entrepreneurs exist in every phase of life. So we will have the last session on artists as entrepreneurs, people who are coming from the creative fields, from music, from theater, from film, even culinary arts. And how do they scale their vision?
Can you also talk about some of the speakers, so if they are finalized or not yet?
Yeah, I'll give you an example of the speakers. So in technology, for instance, we are very excited. One of the breakthrough technologies, which is almost understanding biology at the level of the code of life, is mRNA technology. It's a new programming language. And we are bringing one of the thought leaders, not just someone who has contributed to the field, but actually is leading a company in that. So that's in the shapers of what's next. We're equally bringing someone who is a Tony Award winning artist, but also teaches business. And so that's a range. We're also bringing some incredible speakers. And we intentionally went for speakers who were authentic, who were willing to share the vulnerable journey, not necessarily who were celebrated and had kind of marquee name. So you will see a number of speakers, which we'll announce soon, who talk about the journey, whether it is in the early stage or even some who are serial entrepreneurs and what it took for them and the ups and downs of that journey. So it's very exciting.
Excellent. Now you mentioned from opening session to the closing sessions. I have to ask you because I think TiECON is always a great opportunity for networking. What about cocktails? Is there going to
we have specifically created time, and actually we have thought a lot about not just cocktails, but how do we create a meaningful opportunity for people to know each other. So in fact, one of the things we have added to further enhance the I don't like the word networking, but building meaningful relationships is we are going to feature half a dozen or so films of members of TiE Boston or TiE New York, who are the two co-sponsors, and talk about their passion project. Let's talk and get to know each other beyond just our business. What drives us?
So is it going to be like, tell me about this session?
Yeah, so it's actually because of limitation of time. So we are inviting, and we have a set of people who will select 1 to 2 minute videos of people talking about their passion project that we will have on a screen rolling. And hopefully they'll be in the room. So you can walking up to you and saying, hey, we heard your interest and and that allows us to know each other beyond just our businesses, but as members of this great organization that we are part of.
So now I'm glad you mentioned passion. So traditionally, when we talk about entrepreneurship, we always hear, though you have to have a passion, or you have to have a desire, or you have to have that fire inside you. But this time, maybe this is the first time I'm hearing the heart of entrepreneurship, the heart definition, which is really fascinating. And I want to come back to that theme again. How did this word heart pop up in organizers' mind? Do you have any discussions on that?
Yeah, we did. Thank you I'm glad you're picking up the subtlety. It was very carefully thought through.
Sure.
The mind of analytically understanding, looking at data, doing market research is well covered. But we wanted to get to the essence of the entrepreneur. And it's a combination of the mindset, but at its core, I believe, from my lived experience, you do this because there's something deep within you that resonates with what you want to bring to the world, whether it's an opportunity or a problem you want to solve. And the only word that captures that, which includes the mind, which includes the mindset, is the heart, the essence.
Off the camera, I think we were talking about, and you mentioned that entrepreneurship can also be a self-discovery process as well, or something like that.
So, Pendra, you're tempting me now. I like thinking deeply. I feel at the end of the day, from my own experience, in walking this journey of building businesses or leading businesses, it was not just what you accomplish outside, but who you become in the process. And I feel, while as human beings, we are focused on our external goals, our external deliverables, but it is perhaps not a conscious process, but in the process of creating a business, we become a different person. We become who we want to strive to be.
So now, given the radically different the theme and the topic and the sessions at the TiECON this year, who should attend TiECON and why should anybody attend TiECON?
Yeah, and we thought deeply about it. I really want to thank the board, because the challenge they put in front for both Satish Bhatt, who's the co-chair, and me, was that we needed to not only reach the current members, but go beyond the current members, because what TiE offers is something special. And so, as I mentioned, Entrepreneurship is not just a tech business or a life sciences business. This conference is reaching out to everyone who has a creative idea, who has committed to something that they want to bring in the world, be it in arts, be it in real estate, be it in some other form in their life. That's one aspect. But the other is, because entrepreneurship is such a special and sometimes lonely journey, we want people to say, here is your tribe. Come meet others who are either on the same journey with you or have walked that journey a few steps ahead, can help you, guide you, or mentor you.
Very good. Atul, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're looking forward to seeing you at TiECON on 26th.
And I'm sure you'll be there as well. And
Absolutely,
thank
yes.
you for this opportunity.
Excellent. Thank you so much.